All right. So we hit critical mass here. I'm going to jump in and start talking about what we're going to be doing today. I really appreciate everybody coming in this Wednesday morning. This is going to be a very informative talk on not only how to just leverage Outbuild to be better at bringing your team together, but also setting up your room correctly, talking about expectations into that room. This is something that's very near and dear to my heart. I've done it for a very long time in a bunch of different teams, poll planning, getting people to collaborate, to attack that big, hairy, audacious thing as a group. So I like to share this knowledge, and I really, really hope that everybody feels compelled to be a part of this conversation as well. So we have these as community discussions. We do have them set up as webinars right now. We're hoping to possibly make them as meetings at some point too, so we can have cameras and you guys can really be a part of this more. But for right now, please feel free to use the chat, be a part of these discussions. We feed off that energy, and we really we're doing this for everybody that's in this call, right? We talk to each other all day long. We do this so we can talk to everybody else that's jumping in this morning. So without further ado, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. And you guys are on the road. I really appreciate you calling in. Hopefully you can stick around as long as you can. But we'll see you in our virtual office. All right, you guys can see that okay? Deal. All right, so happy Wednesday. This version of our trailer talk is about poll planning and collaborative planning, leveraging Outbuild to help your team attack the big, hairy, audacious phase of work you're about to try to complete, and then also some best practices and things that I've picked up over my 15 plus year career, helping plan projects and get things done. So we're going to start with kind of what we're going to cover. Again, intros, admin, pretty consistent stuff that we're used to seeing. And then there's going to be about 25-minute presentation on leveraging Outbuild and also how to set up a good poll plan. And then we're going to talk about stuff that we've just released even and stuff where we're working on releasing. And then also do questions and polls. And then Brittany's got a little bit about our Outbuild community that we're building, which is going to be very exciting. Very excited to have another place to connect with everybody and for everybody to share some of their best practices with the Outbuild community. 45 minutes is what we're planning for. And again, these are the same slides we show every time. You can use the chat. Tell us where you're at. Tell us, what you're excited about. Be a part of the conversation. You can also add questions to our question bank, and we'll answer them as we go through the presentation. And then this little piece too, we haven't really leveraged as much as I would hope we would. But you can raise your hand and we can ask, you can talk directly to everybody in this call. Now, be respectful. Obviously, there's a lot of people in this call, and we're trying to get this presented in 45 minutes. But if you had something you wanted to share, feel free to share it. We're a very open community about that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my fellow facilitators. Brittany, I'll let you go first.
Thank you, Mike. Hi, team. My name is Brittany Evans. I am the customer success manager for everyone on the East Coast and some of you guys in the middle there too. Most of you have either talked to me or we've talked to each other on a help chat. I've supported you in some way, but we are very excited for this session. It's been highly requested from a lot of our team, so we're excited for Mike to pour all his knowledge on us. And please don't hesitate to enter in the chat any questions. We have that Q&A. Me and Skylar are monitoring that as well. So let's get this show on the road. Oh, and Skylar, sorry.
Oh, no. Hey guys, how are you doing? I'm Skylar. I may have talked to some of you in the help chat. I am the newest member of the customer success team. So I'm still in training, but I'm looking forward to working with all of you.
And I am Mike Wong. I am head of customer success for Outbuild. Been doing this for 2.5 years now. I've loved every minute of it. Watching our teams grow, watching our client base grow, watching the product grow. It's been very fulfilling, and I'm really excited to where we're heading, the direction we're heading with this thing as well. So let's jump right into this. 2 things you can use always. This will not be a presentation on how to open a 3-week look ahead and fully plan like every button and everything. We don't really have time for that. And I think this is more concept based. This is more the why. We have many, many resources, including the CSs on the call and your CSs that are assigned to your account for getting into the nitty gritty of how to actually get something set up specifically for your project. So always use this. There's a upper right-hand side of any Outbuild window. There's the knowledge base. Very, very powerful. Lots of articles. Spend a lot of time making sure we got good data in there. Look for some specific questions or reach out to your CS, and we can definitely, your customer success manager, we can definitely get those questions answered for you. Also, for anybody that is not on the webinar now or wish they could see our previous webinars, we do post them about a couple days after we record them to our website. So outbuild.com, under resources, there's a trailer talk tab. These are going to be filled with all of these webinars. So tons of resources that you can use beyond being a part of this live call. But this is way more fun being here live, right? So let's keep pushing for that. All right. So the reason you're all here, how to run a poll plan in Outbuild. It starts, and again, anybody that's been in a meeting with me, they probably say it all the time. I get into philosophy, I get into why, I get into the concepts. I think you have to ground the foundation of any process or any tool you're about to implement with the right mindset, with the right understanding of why everybody's there. Because if you don't do that, the people on that in that meeting or in that call, they probably don't have full expectations of, okay, where are we all getting? Especially for poll planning and collaborative planning, you don't know exactly what that plan's going to look like at the end of that meeting. That's kind of the idea, right? So you got to really feed into this process of, we are going to do this together. The kind of gray area that we're attacking right now is out there, but we're going to clarify it. We're going to figure out what it is. And it starts with, when you're convincing someone to do something, successfully convincing someone to do something starts when they decide they want to participate. So you have to create an environment where people want to be there. They want to share. They feel there's value in them being there. It's very difficult. I'm not trying to simplify how to do these meetings. I've been in enough of them. I've been in successful ones and I've been in failures of ones. It's really about the environment that you're setting up, right? If you don't have the right environment, if you didn't build the right mindset, if you didn't set the right expectation, it's very, very tough to make success happen out of these meetings. And then it's very easy for people to stop showing up, right? Or to, try to just be there for as small amount of time as possible and not be involved with planning, which is what we want to avoid. This is a kicker. I'm going to hit this point so many times in this conversation. 95% of a successful planning session starts before the meeting. 95%. So before you have these meetings, 95% should be done already. The 5% that happens in the meeting is really that secret sauce of magic of people coming together and putting a great plan together. But 95% of what needs to be done should not be in that meeting. You should not be waiting till Monday morning or Tuesday morning to put stickies together, to put your information in a place, to put your maps up on the wall. And I'll walk through all these different steps, right? Should be done. This is hit play. This is, I've trained for this. It's like, let's go. Let's do this thing. We're going to be in here for 25 minutes and not 3.5 hours, right? 95%, get it done early. So starts with this big 5-letter word. And this big 5-letter word is like the white buffalo or unicorn or whatever you want to call in construction. It's fleeting. It's very difficult to build. It's very difficult to find. It's very difficult to protect, right? Because once you build it, could take you an entire project lifeline cycle, whatever, to build trust, and it'll take you 1 second to lose it by making a simple mistake, right? It'll take you 1 second to say something wrong or treat somebody, incorrectly in front of everybody else, and that trust is gone across the entire group, right? This is something that the really good people have really good emotional intelligence and people skills. They're really attuned to making sure people feel trusting, that there's trust in that team, right? And here's just some common ground rules. Probably heard this in a million different management books and theories by a bunch of different really famous authors. But good and bad behavior should be addressed at different times. Bad behavior in a planning room, right, should not be addressed in that planning room, right? Is also, there's a slippery slope of holding people accountable for what they're committing to and being a part of this planning. But bad behavior, like not showing up or some other things that could be discussed privately, there should always be a step to do that privately. Because again, one person where you go off on them in a meeting, you're going to lose everyone's trust because everyone's going to be terrified to be like, well, I actually have a problem that's bigger than what that person just said. Now I'm terrified to talk about it because I'm going to get blown up in front of everybody. You got to remove that from the room. The goal of those planning meetings is to get everybody's ideas out because those little small ideas that they think are not important could be extremely important, right? That's why you're hiring these people to do these very proficient jobs. Tap into that resource and make sure they feel safe to be part of these rooms. Appropriate humor. We had sunglasses on to the start of this meeting. We want to bring energy. You want to make sure people feel that it's fun to be there. I've been in a lot of planning rooms where people play music. People bring coffee and donuts. Someone different brings coffee and donuts, right? There's got to be not just the normal humdrum of a meeting. It's got to have some sort of energy to it because this takes energy to do, right? It takes energy to collaborate and to come up with a good plan, right? Bad eggs. So I've been in many planning meetings where, and what's really cool about doing this right and really fostering this trust and this great culture in the planning room is the bad egg gets kind of ostracized very quickly. The person that's not kind of playing game and doesn't feel like they belong or there's belonging in that group, they kind of get ostracized and put to the side very quickly because the other peers are, hey, we're planning well. This person doesn't seem like they want to play game for some reason. Either you have that conversation early of trying to bring that person back in. You should always try to use the resources you have. But if you've tried many times and the team all agrees, sometimes just getting that person into a different position and getting somebody else that works better in that group is the right option. But you got to do that quickly, right? Because a bad egg can sour the bunch very quickly. And again, 5-letter word at the top, protect trust with your life because you're going to spend so much time building it and it's so easy to lose it in that meeting. And then humanize. Talk about something other than the job. Talk about how you just, my kids keep getting sick at daycare. Super annoying. Brittany and I talk about this all the time in our one-on-ones. I love the kids, but man, they bring home all sorts of jungle diseases to the house. And I wish they didn't do that, but they're kids. You can't, what can you do about that, right? Or, I just got a hole in one the other day on the golf course. Let's talk about that if you want to talk about something else. Like just make sure everybody feels human in that room because you're all human. You're not robots. You're not, AI bots trying to plan a building with certain mathematical equations. You're humans that are trying to feel like they're part of a group, part of a tribe that's trying to discover an answer to a question. So use lots of tools to help do this, right? Some of those tools can be as simple as very clear warning signs of, hey, you're walking into this room, anything that you think is important about yourself or your company or anything else, check it at the door, right? Everybody's the same level in this room. Nobody has status over anybody else. It's all about who's got the most pertinent information and who's the sharpest tool for that task. That's what you bring into that room. That's what you start discussing. Warning flags. I don't know if anybody's read Lean Builder books too. Warning flags and Elmo dolls. If anybody knows these terms, right? So very easy to get into a room where people just start talking and there's not progress. There's a lot of movement, as in people are just exchanging hot air in the room. Throw that flag and say, okay, let's sideline this conversation. Let's put it in, you can put it in a parking lot or you can have it in a sheet where you can set up what's called like a breakout, right? So if it's a discussion about something that doesn't involve everybody in that room, put it in a list, write down the people that need to be involved in that discussion and have that meeting right after this one. Do a 20-minute huddle with just those people and get that done, right? But throw that flag early too, because you can spend a lot of time listening to somebody saying something that's not pertinent to the whole group of people in that room. And then ELMO stands for enough, let's move on. I've been in planning rooms, I've been in change order meetings, I've been in all this stuff where in the middle of the table, there's ELMO dolls. And it's a politically correct way to hand an ELMO to somebody to be like, I understand what you're saying. I'm not by any means discounting the importance of what you're saying, but I feel this is not the right setting. And it's a group discussion of, okay, parking lot, let's discuss that later. Again, lots of highly paid people in that room. We can't be spending this charge rate talking about something that's not relevant to what we're trying to discover in this meeting. Let's see here. So setting up the room correctly as well. This is a big pushback because we all live as cyborgs now. Take their cell phones away. I dare you. They'll probably fight you tooth and nail. Offer to charge them. for them. Put it in a nice, clean place where they can just be kind of buddy with other people's cell phones. It could be a half-hour meeting. Sure, you could get an important call, and if you recognize your ringer, have them go pick it up, but also make the expectation of if your cell phone rings, make sure it's important, because we only need a half hour of your time to make sure this plan works. And if it is important, you're more than welcome to step out. Everybody's very busy in that meeting. And then the other thing too is we did talk about the iPad app and what Outbuild provides for quick finger access into your plan. Have some iPads in that room charging as well that people can grab and kind of use as communal iPads to plan. Another contentious point, take the chairs out of the room. It's really interesting how some of the best full plan rooms I've been in are small. They have tall boys and then bar tables in the middle of the room, and nobody's sitting. Everybody's planning. Everybody's standing in front of a board talking about their scopes of work. And we could get 10 times more things done than if everybody's sitting in a big room with a bunch of chairs and tables and their cell phones in front of them. Just take those things out of the environment and force them to engage in planning on Outbuild and being a part of this collaborative planning effort on your job. And you'd be amazed how fast that meeting can go. It's just reviewing. It's just sequencing work. And I'll get into that more detail too. But this meeting or this picture on the right here, that's what you're going for, right? Cover the room with drawings too. The walls should be absolutely littered with your key maps, your logistics plans, your submittal logs, whatever pieces of information are going to help you plan, put them on the wall, put them on the ceiling, put them everywhere, right? Because the faster you can reference something quickly, the faster you can point at, okay, this zone is zone 1, that means this here. All right, now I'm clear what we're talking about in this meeting right now of where I'm going to end and this next person's going to start is super, super important. And I've been in a lot of planning rooms where there's just some stickies on a wall and there's not enough drawings everywhere. It's like, okay, how do we even know what we're talking about, right? And then the other thing too, and I'm going to actually push people in this call, who actually flies a model in their planning meetings? And I'm literally going to pause until somebody answers me. I'll put the music back on too if I have to. Anybody in the chat? You can say, yes, we do. A couple of people are saying no. Can understand that.
Oh, Etro does. Karina.
Etro does. Hands off to Etro. Yeah, so can understand if you don't have a model. Totally understand that. Get one. It's even a simple building. Architects are using softwares where you can have a model. And the reason I really push for this is that 2D is one thing, but visually seeing, there's softwares like CM Builder, right, that are actually making it almost a game to set up your logistics plans with a 3D model. That type of tool just throws gasoline on the fire of good collaborative planning, of seeing further down the road and seeing more constraints and understanding your variances that could happen on a job. Super, super important. Even if it's a very simple building, something you've done 100 times, there's always something that just flying a model quickly, Navisworks, or even I think BIM 360 Glue. There's a lot of tools now that allow you to get to a 3D world and you have another TV that's just somebody's flying a model in there. Don't be intimidated too. It's actually, once you get used to it, it's not that hard to understand how to take a section or take an elevation and understand the project better. I love that teams are pushing more towards this, but it's a part of construction that's been around for a very long time. And I really think it's under leveraged. So push your architect to be like, I know you're using Revit. I know you designed this building in drawings using a modeling tool. They're not drawing stuff in CAD anymore, right? Give me that model and I'll open it up in a viewer and I can actually use that in planning sessions. So thank you for people that answered and wanted to be a part of this as well. Feel free to anybody that wants to raise their hand as well and ask any questions. Please be a part of this conversation. We want to make sure it's community based. We'll pick on you. We'll let you speak in the webinar as well. But what you're looking at here is a snapshot of the look ahead in Outbuild. And the idea, right, is that each one of these summaries is coming directly from your master schedule. And this is the expectation that you want your team to be at, again, the 95% before the meeting starts, when this meeting kicks off. You have understood what metal stud framing means. You understand what areas of the building, because your support team, your GC, has given you a clear map. Wednesday's pole planning session is going to be on zone 1. Please bring your metal stud framing tasks for zone 1 into Wednesday's planning meeting. Put it in an email, put it in a conversation, whatever it is. Talk about it at the end of the last planning session. Make it abundantly clear of what the expectation is before you get into that meeting. And again, we've built a tool that anybody that's got a browser and an internet connection can come into your look ahead structured plan and hit this plus sign. Sorry, hit this plus sign and put in their tasks. Again, the idea behind doing this is that it's not your superintendent doing this. Do not ask your superintendent to do this. They have enough things that they need to do. And also, they're guessing. They're really good at knowing a little bit about everything that's happening on the job. They're not so good at knowing exactly what they need to do for this one framing section, because you're not paying them to know that. You're paying the framer to know that. So push your framer to bring this data into your plan. Again, all they got to do, log into Outbuild, open the look ahead, hit this plus sign. 3 steps. And again, as CSs, we train subcontractors all the time, really pushing for this movement of free the superintendents from planning for the subs. That's not their job. That's what they've had to do for decades now, but that's not their job. The subcontractors know how to put this scope together. So bring them into the room and make them push the plus sign. They could do it on an iPad too. If you had to do it last minute, have that communal iPad ready. They can hit the plus sign, add their tasks, and then you guys can sequence it in the meeting. I'll show you how to do that too. So again, don't worry about start date. Don't worry about how these things are fully going to work out. Like, this activity is not happening till middle of May, but I have a pretty solid sequence of what needs to be done. Got kickers, backing studs, top track. I have durations for all this stuff. You can put crew size in here too. If I know crew size. And then you can start coordinating with the other trades in that meeting. Again, that's the 5% after the 95%'s already been done. You can set up pre-filtered views too. And I know that we train this all the time, but a lot of teams don't really use this tool very often. So what happens is you open your look ahead, you can create basically a view and label it as building a planning session through look ahead. And whatever you had filtered from the master schedule will always be in that dropdown. So it's even less buttons for the subcontractors to click. They just need to know which view they need to be in to plan. And again, it's clicking that button, understanding what we're working on for this full planning session. Again, you could label it a generic name of Wednesday's planning session, and the subcontractor has already gone in and put in their tasks because the support team has already set up a view for them. So they know exactly what they should be planning, right? And again, if they've been in enough of these meetings, they understand where we're moving through the project, where I want to put data in, and don't just cap them to those views. We can also train them on how to plan further than 3 weeks out. That's blue sky. That's even greater expectations that a subcontractor could be a part of in terms of planning. And use the iPad. Bring the iPad into the room. They can be doing this in their house. They could be doing this and give them their lunch break because they need a break, right? But at any time that you have an iPad that you're looking at any other scheduling software or any other project management software, they can go in and double check their durations and also use this to walk the field and track progress before those meetings as well. So you can have those discussions. We've made this very simple to use, and we love feedback. If we can make it more simple, tell us how, because we'll make it more simple for you. If there's any contention from anybody that says, I don't think this will work, we have teams doing this. All of these plans are from specific teams that are involving their subcontractors every week, and they're planning work. It's possible. Teams are doing it, right? This is just a handful. These are actually showing committed plans too. A green zone means that they've committed to that week's worth of work. This one's committed, green. They committed to that week's worth of work. This one is still working on this. They haven't committed to it yet. And then even this one, I love this one, man. It's like a gorgeous plan just because of the way it looks. This has got so many different trades involved. It's got a great sequence of work. Obviously, just from looking at this from 5 seconds and 5 feet away, this is a complex plan. There's a lot of handoffs between each one of these things, but look how simple it is. Like if I'm the pink team, I know that, okay, that's plaster probably because it's plaster prep for painting. I know exactly where I'm supposed to be and I can be a part of that plan. And all of this started like this. The meeting started like this. And all these things lined up. We knew the scopes. And then at the end of the meeting, we've resequenced into a plan. And again, we're not committing to week 10. We're committing to week 1 next week. And this can change. That's the idea, is that at least there's something up there for everybody to use. I don't know if anybody's heard the term, I think Abraham Lincoln said this, right? And somebody tell me if I'm wrong, but Abraham Lincoln said, if you give me 8 hours to chop down a tree, I'll spend 7 hours sharpening my axe and then 30 minutes chopping down the tree, right? This is sharpening the axe for your team. This is the contention that I don't have time to plan because I need to do work. If you got a dull axe, that work is going to be highly unproductive. There's going to be tons of defects. You're going to have tons of changes. You're going to have to rework a bunch of things. It's more dangerous to chop a tree down with a dull axe too, right? Sharpen the axe. Get your teams to put in really good plans weeks in advance so that even in the next 2 or 3 weeks, they'll get better. And then on top of that, litter your plan with roadblocks. People on this call all know how this works, right? You hit the little roadblock button here. This is something that's saying, okay, we have this nice clean plan. Heads up, this is what I think could stop this plan. And litter your plan. This is a really pretty look ahead, but there's no roadblocks, which is a problem because we know there's issues out there. We know there's something that's going to stop some point of this process, an RFI, a submittal, a bunch of gang boxes in a room, right? Put it on the plan so that your team, your support team, the general contractor, the superintendents who are not planning for you anymore can attack that because that's their main job, is to make you more productive, make sure you're safer, make sure you have everything you need. That's what a general contractor is for. They're not there to do your work for you or plan your work for you. You have to tell them what you need and they'll tell you what they need. I'm very passionate about this, if people haven't caught on, because I've seen it work. I've seen teams that started, this is the Disney work that I was on, right? The first pull planning meetings we had where we were pulling back from milestones, I got this first time I got exposed to pull planning, really. I was told that, okay, we're going to sit in a room and we're going to plan work on stickies with Sharpies. And I planned all my stuff out the night before and I had 30 stickies all ready to go. And it was confusing when I walked into that room and everyone looked at me like, what the hell are those? Like, this is the plan. This is my plan. Didn't you guys do yours? And they're all like, no, we do it in the meeting. It's like, why? Did the scope change between this morning and later? Did you not understand what's changing? Why can't you put your plan in beforehand? And we changed the idea of this meeting's about solving the problems after we've already added our input, right? Mix the input together and see how it works best because it makes us more effective. In the meantime, plan your stuff the way you know you should plan it. Put your sequences in, put your durations in, and then you guys can mix that duration and figure out what the plan is. And nobody in the front of this board is a general contractor, superintendent. These are all subtrades. And they were planning their own work and they loved it because they were so in tune with each other. It was a tribe of, let's go crush this thing. And then me and this guy just stood back and, hey, what do you guys need? Oh, I heard you needed a submittal. Let me go crush that for you so that you guys can go get that done. You're doing great. Everything else, I'll get out of your way for you. Data comes out of this on the back end too, right? So you have a very specific sequence of committing to work, and then it starts showing you your weekly work planning. It starts showing you your variances. It starts showing you green charts as roadblocks, right? It really gives you a really good indication of how well your team is planning and also how well they're protecting that plan with the data that's coming from roadblocks. So use the whole system. I show this in every meeting as well. If you're discouraged and you've gone to what's called the trough of disillusionment because you were super excited about being a part of Outbuild and planning all this stuff, a lot of you will be in the trough. Collaborative planning on a job site with the current mindsets in construction is very difficult. Again, trust is very fleeting and it's hard to find and it's hard to protect. Let us help you, especially for the technical side of it. You're having computer issues, you're having subcontractors not being able to log into iPads. That's what we're here for. Don't suffer in silence, right? We are here to help you guys get up to productivity. That's why we exist. So leverage us. So let's summarize this real quick. We got about 10, it's about 15 minutes, so we can take a little bit more time. I do want to open up to questions from anybody as well. So first thing, right? We want to clearly define what is being planned before you get into that room. 95%. Put it on the wall. Make sure people understand what we're working on. And then sequence the work. And here's a little video to show you how that works, right? You got everything lined up. And again, it might not be this simple. There might be some stuff you got to move up and down, some other trades you need to involve, but drag and drop. Okay, we got all these different chunks of work. Electrician, can you start Tuesday? Yes. Perfect. Can you start the same time as the framer on the other end of the floor so that you guys can, cross in the middle and you guys have a good flow of work in that area? Perfect. We'll set that up that way. If it changes, this is still 2 weeks away, so we can change it at some point too, right? Again, 95%. Get the stuff in there at least so you're just moving stuff around on the big screen in front of everybody, just talking about what might work. Cover the plan with roadblocks. Once you get a good sequence that makes sense, that's been validated week after week, protect that plan. Put in roadblocks. Make sure people understand that any small, tiny thing that could stop me from doing what I'm committing to do, tell me early, because I can get rid of it early and with high quality. It's very important. It's a very powerful part of Outbuild that people are starting to use more of, but we're trying to get more groundswell to do that. Commit to your work. Hit the big green button. Don't be afraid if something doesn't go right. You're going to learn from it, right? We actually ask you to commit twice. It's 2 buttons you have to hit to commit. And then study the results, rinse and repeat over and over and over and over again. And you're going to learn and improve. It's impossible for you not to improve if you're always checking and adjusting, plan, do, check, adjust, right? Plan, do, check, adjust over and over and over again. A couple of things we're working on. We have Procore company login coming in the next couple sprints. We have some look ahead improvements. Again, it goes very well with what I'm preaching in this call, right? Of getting everybody involved, making it easier for people to see things, to filter their own stuff, for stuff to stay locked in their views. That's all coming as well. Controlled access to current schedule. I don't know if you guys have seen, you can set one of your drop downs to be a current schedule, and then you can allow people to only see that schedule instead of maybe the other schedules that you have in there. Schedule is schedules. I don't know if anybody's seen that. It went out last night. So again, as fresh as it possibly could be. This is going to be version 2 coming out where you can actually filter those views. So it's the home view. There's another in the upper left, there's a drop down that goes from tile view to actual timeline view. And you can see all of your projects in your portfolio in a nice clean Gantt. And then a column to show driving predecessor. So that's a request that we have of in the bottom part of your activity card. It's in a lot of other softwares as well. It's a very, very useful tool that people use. When you click on a task, it tells you which one's driving the logic, where that other task is going to start. The predecessor is driving. So again, just helping you backtrack what is setting up my schedule this way. And then the things we got done, autosave user views. When you log into the home screen, whatever view you have should stay that way, always. Whatever you collapse should stay that way, always. It doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. Or if you're on a different computer, when you log in, it should always look that way. And then the new modification request modal, that's coming out if people has come out if people have seen it. Look aheads can be printed to 6 to 8 weeks now instead of just 4 weeks. And then, like I said, schedules is live as of last night. I need to take a break from talking too. So I'll let you guys talk for a second and maybe answer some of these questions. I don't know if we have any in the Q&A.
Sorry, no questions yet in the Q&A.
Are we having sound issues, by the way, too?
I was gonna ask, is anybody else experiencing any sound issues? If so, if you could just no sound issue. Okay, thanks, Karina.
I gotta get with that was our Y group too. It's up 7 a.m, so hopefully they're not hearing that poppy music blasting in the background.
Yeah, I'll reach out to John and his team after.
Yeah. Any other questions on any of this stuff? We kind of flew through it too, and we're at 8 minutes here before we want to make sure you guys have some time. Sound is good. Cool. Cool. We do have a couple questions. You guys want to answer those? I'll to you.
Right. Michael says, I'd welcome opinions on successfully completing a pool plan virtually with shared screen in lieu of in person.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's a magic of having people in the same place, but it's the world we live in now of kind of virtual working. So it's the same kind of scenario. It's cloud based. You need an internet connection. The second you have anybody logged in and adding tasks, every time you refresh the screen, whoever's sharing that main screen, they'll start seeing those new tasks.
Thanks, Mike. Next question. Do you have customers using the iPad app in these meetings? How is it leveraged?
You did the iPad one, Brittany, if you want to answer that one.
Yeah, so we do have teams utilizing the iPad app in these meetings. It's very convenient. Everyone can see the same schedule and be on their iPad looking at their specific task. They can also see other sub-trade tasks. So instead of trying to see one small board or one chart that you have up one screen, everybody can see it themselves on their own screen. So it's more visible, and you can make changes just by changing dates, sliding your finger. So very quick access. So if you are not already utilizing the iPad app, I highly suggest you download it, and please update, as we do constantly release new updates for the iPad app. All right. Do you send out those look aheads before the pool plan meeting? So you do have the option to export the look ahead via PDF. But if everybody has access to Outbuild, there's not really a reason to print that out or send an extra email. They have access to that look ahead prior anyway. So I don't think that's needed. You have access to that 24/7 in the Outbuild.
All right, can you assign multiple roadblocks to pool plan tasks?
Yes. You can assign multiple roadblocks to tasks. You can also assign a roadblock to multiple tasks. So if you have a roadblock that impacts more of your look ahead, you can assign it to as many tasks as you need. You can also assign multiple roadblocks because we know many issues come across at the job site. So yes to that question. And then Matthew Lays, as a superintendent, is there a value in running a pool plan meeting with subs individually?
Yes. So I think again, you don't want to push too much of like, you guys need to go in and get your tasks already put in. Again, the people that are learning the software, just like everybody that's on the general contractor team that bought the software account, right? It takes a little bit to learn it. So I totally suggest sitting with them and one, not even just showing them how they work, but how it works, but how getting an understanding of how they like to plan and how they like to set up. Don't plan in a silo though. That's the only difference of you could have a really good planning session with say your framer and you get all the framing tasks put in, but the framer is heavily dependent on everybody else. So don't move in sequence and say that, hey, you guys are going to start on this date and that date because you're not seeing the full picture of everybody's plan. That's again the benefit of you're committing to work with everybody involved. You can definitely put the tasks in there with the sub and being like, okay, this is all your scope, but your start dates in the sequence of where you A, B, C, D in a certain plan should be decided with everybody who's part of that key stakeholder group, if that makes sense. Good question, though.
Do we have another one? More are coming in. Okay, this is a longer one. Jason, we typically pool plan during construction, but it seems critical to have these planning sessions happen at project kickoff with select grouping of subs. Do you find that step a good building block of trust building and accountability, or should this be rolled out in phases in mind?
So really the timing of it is contingent upon if you got all the key stakeholders for that scope of group, that scope of work, right? I would say try to group the subs and have them talk about scopes of work as early as possible. So if you buy out a sub and you know that this specific building is going to have a complex phase of work that's, it's a mechanical room or it's a riser, something that's got a lot of different trades in a very small area, definitely group them. Once you buy them, group them and say like, okay, what do you guys think about this? This is not committed work. We're not going to say this is absolutely what you need to do, but get them in there early so they can start getting those creative wheels of how to build this thing turning. There's another thing that we're really trying to break away from in the construction industry is predicting perfection a year before the job starts, even 6 months before that scope starts, because you're just wasting your time. You're putting in single trade, single day activities 6 months ahead when they're going to be happening. And then 6 months go by, and that old plan is now what you're driving production on the job site with. It really doesn't make sense. Leverage their experience, get some plans in there. And again, Outbuild will hold that data for you. And as it approaches your actual execution time, you'll have that data ready and you can be adjusting that data as it's happening. And you can have a clear critical path still, but you're not getting into the detail of this riser is going to go in on this day with this person and it's going to take 2 days because we don't know. You probably don't even have the submittal approved for that mechanical equipment yet. So how could your trade possibly know how long it's going to take? Good question, Jason. Thank you.
We have time for one more, Mike.
Sure. Yeah, again, we're right at time here, but we always like, I think Brittany's got a little bit about community building that we want to jump in and show. So maybe this is the last one for now, and then we'll jump back to questions so that Brittany can get her part in.
If there is resistance from the trade partners, would you recommend the superintendent or PE drives Outbuild on the screen as the foremen are talking about the sequence? How do I convince them it's worth their time?
Trust. And again, it's a super generic like answer of you got to build trust in that room. I can't tell you from where I'm standing right now how you build trust in that room. You have to know personally what those people are bringing as experience, what they like. Are they whiskey drinkers? Do they, as a group there, are they all Dallas Cowboy fans or something, right? Or maybe there's a contentious, you can playfully talk about how, the Patriots beat the Cowboys the other week, right? Again, it's you got to give them a reason to want to be a group and be a part of planning. And having somebody who's more tech savvy run the screen real quickly, absolutely smart idea. Yes. Don't force foremen that are already giving their time to put their plan in to also be fully versed on how to set up that sequence quickly. Have that begin as a support. You're trying to help them be as productive as possible and also fostering a safe, trusty place for them to bring their best efforts and work together as a team. Brittany, let's talk about community real quick too. So
yeah,
we'll
sorry, I know we're at time and I want to make sure I get to this. So we have just launched an Outbuild community page. In this page, you will find a discussion tab, a feed of our latest news. What you guys probably look forward to most is the R&D section of these presentations. So there is an R&D plus me section in this community where we will ask for your input as well as provide updates on the latest features coming to Outbuild. It's also a place where like-minded individuals can meet. There's going to be project managers from across the country, superintendents from across the country that are all utilizing Outbuild and all learning a new system. So I highly encourage you to join. I'm going to drop a link in the chat right now. And I will be raffling off some swag if you do join. If you are one of the first 50 users to join the Outbuild community, I am going to raffle off some swag. So let me get that link to you guys. And I'm going to post it here. All right. So the link is in the chat. Please join the community, put your input. I already have a few posts on there. But yeah, I'm excited to get this built. I know you guys are used to reaching out to us in the help chat and directly, but this is another way that you can communicate with not just us or your specific success manager, but the whole Outbuild team and the Outbuild community. So thank you. Please join. I'm done with my spiel.
It's great. Brittany spent a lot of time doing this, making sure this is set up in an easy way. There's a lot of different softwares that allow us to do this. This really helps us tap into everybody involved and have you guys share ideas across each other. Again, with great power or great responsibility comes great power comes great responsibility. Let's be professional in this too. Again, we're opening this up for everybody to talk to each other. Let's come in there with a communal mindset, a trusting mindset. Again, this is our plan room. This is us opening up a poll plan for the entire Outbuild community to help us build this tool and make it better and better and better and better. Again, I don't know any other software companies that do scheduling and planning that are doing that. So again, we're really leaning into, we are building tools for you. So be a part of this build. We'll name buttons after you too. It's happened before.
All right.
Yeah, Channing's in. Thank you, Channing.
Yeah,
there we go.
yeah. Thank you, Channing and Karina. They have already joined the community. So you will have the chance to win either a hat, a mug, some stickers, a shirt, safety vest. I got a couple of those. So you are in the running.
So I know we're at time too, so I'm going to throw up our poll just to set up discussion for the next trailer talk. It will be, you guys should see that posted now. This is going to be the last Wednesday of next month, which I believe is the 29th of May, which isn't crazy. We're almost halfway through this year already, which is wild. So where we go, we got roadblocks and delays. Okay. Tips and tricks. Thank you, everybody that's being a part of this. Again, this is 100% community focused. We have this meeting for you. Thank you for being involved, answering questions, and listening to our antics. We love doing this. This turned into a great thing, so we're going to do it every month for you. We got a pretty close race between tips and tricks and roadblocks and delays. So this should be fun to see how it kind of pans out here. Not one person put in how to build trust across a job site. I think that kind of gives you a good indicator of how hard that is to do. Nobody wants to even think about it. Cool. All right. Any other questions? Again, we can go back to questions for a bit. I don't have a hard stop for another 10, 20 minutes here. So yeah, Channing's super excited. Awesome. Our swag is the best too. I really love our swag. This is sharp. Franco does not cheap out on good swag. We always have good swag coming from this company. So
yeah, sorry, I had to put myself on mute because I was getting the notifications from the community. So thank you so much for joining, guys. I really do appreciate this. I want to keep this growing. So please encourage the rest of your team to join. Anybody can join, anybody that is new to Outbuild or wants to learn more about Outbuild, please encourage.
So that's the end of our webinar. If there are any more questions, we can stick in a little bit longer if anybody wants to post anything else. Otherwise, happy to you guys, chat, sign off. We'll see you next week. Next month, end of the month. I think we're still up. Who's going to be running this one? Do we know? Should we sign up Ben because he's on the road right now?
Absolutely. I think so.
Absolutely. That shows you the culture of our team too. If you're not part of the webinar, you get signed up for everything. So it looks like tips and tricks, which is right up Ben's alley. So that'll be perfect.
Perfect.
Awesome. So thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. Stay safe out there. We'll see you in a month.